Hello mini makers. I want to show you today how we're going to paint your January mini maker box. So inside your box you're going to have all of these goodies. So we are missing one very important thing. We're waiting on it to come in, so you're not going to see your book in here, but you will have your book with you. You're also going to have your two projects that we're doing this month. So we're doing this super fun quilted heart puzzle stand, and gotta have some games, so we're going to do our little tic-tac-toe X's and O's game. So you're going to have all your paints that you need to complete your project, all your cute little Valentine colors, and a little supply kit with everything you need. The only thing you're going to need beyond this is some basic things, some scissors. Get your parents to help you with anything that needs to be cut. Sometimes you might need a little tweezers. And then we like to use some blue painter's tape to help hold down our pieces while we're painting. So those are all the things that you might need that are not in your box. So our subscription box is every other month. It comes with a book that coordinates with the projects that they do. So it's just a super fun set. So come along with us today as we paint this box. Okay, so we just took everything out of our box. This box is great when you're doing your projects at home. You can open it up so you don't get the table dirty at your house, and just paint directly on this box. We're gonna move it out of our way today though, because we have our brown paper here down in the studio. So we're not gonna need that. And then we're going to start with our heart puzzle. I call it a puzzle because that's what it seems like to me. I always feel like I'm putting a puzzle together. Some people will call it a little quilted design. It does have a quilted look to it, but I think it's more fun to call it a puzzle. So you're gonna have your little stand pieces. You can just set those to the side. Then you're going to have your little frame for your heart. And then all of these little pieces are all separate on here, as you can see. So each one comes apart separate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down some blue tape up here so that I can start separating out what I want to paint, what color. So you have to think about, you want to kind of alternate your pieces so that different colors are sitting next to each other. So we gave you, you have 6 colors in here this month. So you've got plenty of colors to choose from. So you've got lots of choices. Okay. So now we get to select what we want to paint, what color. So I like to say that, you know, different shapes on the opposite sides are going to be the same. So let me see. I can get my paints out here and think about what I want to be what color. Sometimes this is easiest if you, on a puzzle piece like this, or a quilt, if you kind of set the paints down and say, do I like this combo? I like this combo in a little white frame, or do I want to do pink frame? So you get to move it around and choose all the different colors that you want to use in yours. I always love a little good teal with some pink. I think it's a great color combo. And I think I want to do it like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my paint out next to the shapes and what color I want them to be. So I'm going to go, these are going to be my red color, my brighter red color, and then these are going to be the light pink, and I'm going to mimic that down here at the bottom. alternating, so those two are going to be light pink also. And then these 4 are gonna be this color pink. So you see how I'm lining it out so that it helps me remember what is gonna be what color. And then I've got these 2 pieces left, and I have 2 different colors that I used on that outside edge. So I'm gonna have to decide which ones I wanna use. So I had the teal here and red here, so I think I'm gonna go with red, the bright red for these 2 pieces right here. My frame is going to be white, and then I think my my little stands are going to be teal also. So that will take care of that. And then this whole background piece, as you can see, we're pretty much gonna cover almost all of this up, except for this little part down here, because everything is gonna get those pieces on top, including here. So we don't really have to paint this whole top part. We just have a little bit of here that's gonna show. If you see once it's in your stand, you're just gonna see this little part right here. So I painted these pieces red, so I think I'm gonna paint this teal just to kind of offset that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that while I'm thinking about it, because we all forget, don't we? So we're gonna get our sponges out. Now in your toolkit, you do have a little piece of sandpaper, so watch out for that. Just put that to the side. Then you can just use that if you have a little rough edge anywhere on anything that needs a little bit of sanding. Always ask for Mom and Dad's help with that if you are unsure what to do. You're gonna get some glue and some little brushes to apply that. And then we've got our sponges. So this is what we're going to use for painting today. And remember, we have 2 rules here at our studio. Number 1 is to have fun, which we always have fun when we're painting our mini maker boxes. And then number 2 is that a little bit of paint goes a long way. This is really important to make your project look good. You don't want to have too much paint sitting on there, then it gets globby, it takes forever to dry, then it's not fun, because watching paint dry is not fun. So when you put your little sponge in, you're going to hold at the skinny part, you're going to put the bigger end of your sponge in, and you're going to scrape off almost all of that paint there. So you're going to dip it in and then scrape off everything. And let me tell you, there's still a lot of paint in here, which I'm getting ready to show you. You'll see it. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start hopping on our project, okay? So we're just gonna hop, 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 all on this area down here. Remember, I don't need to paint the rest of this heart up top, okay? It's gonna get plenty of coverage from the other pieces. So do not worry about painting the top part. I'm only painting the bottom because I'm gonna see this little piece that's sticking out from my stand. Now the other thing that I do like to do on a project like this is paint the back, because I don't know where I'm gonna sit it. And you might see your back if this is sitting on your kitchen counter, or not sure where you're gonna put it, but you might wanna think about painting the back of your piece, okay? So keep that in mind when you're doing that. And then from here, we're simply going to continue this process, and we've already laid out our pieces, how we want them to be. So we are just gonna start hopping on our project here and paint all of these pieces. Remember, you want to keep hopping and spreading that paint around until it's not real shiny anymore, okay? So we want to do a thin coat on it. Sometimes you might need to do 2 coats depending on how it looks. If you want it to look a little more so you can't see through the paint some, you do a couple thin coats. It's better to do multiple thin coats than to do one really thick coat, okay? So you just hop, 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 hop until that paint spreads out. If you do happen to get too much on your sponge, it's okay. Just keep hopping and spread it around on your project. We're just going to repeat this process with all of our colors here. Ooh, gotta get off all that excess when you're dipping in. We're giving you the full-size sponge here just because these are some kind of big pieces. If it's easier for you to dip into these little jars of paint, you can always cut that sponge in half so that it's two thinner sponges. And then it just takes a little bit longer to paint. It's not a problem, but I always say put on some music, sing some songs while you're doing this. And just take your time and have fun painting. This box is so cute and it gets you in the mood for Valentine's Day. Ready to get some chocolates and some candy hearts. Do you do Valentine's in your classroom at school? Do you trade? We used to always make Valentine boxes. That was one of my favorite things all year long because that's when I got to be creative and crafty. And we always in our art class got to make a Valentine box. Take an old shoebox, cut a little hole in the top for your Valentines. Right there, we're just going along. So we're almost done with this first color. So you see I painted all of this one color. Then I can just set this sponge aside. And remember, we're going to use a new sponge for every single color. Each color is going to get its own sponge. Just continuing on to our quilt here. Or puzzle. I like to call it puzzle. So if you wanted to keep it as a puzzle, you could not glue all these pieces on when we're done. That's another option that you have with this project. So it's very versatile. But if you wanted to stand up, you're going to need to glue those pieces on. If you wanted to just leave it laying down and make it a puzzle and have two games, you could do that. Remember, if you can always add a picture of your project with you all finished. So if you ask your parents to do that, they can go on our Facebook and upload a picture onto our group of you finishing your project. We love to see how they look and what colors you decided to use. If you have other paint at home and you want to do different colors, you can do that. This is your project and you can make it whatever colors that you want it to be. Here we go. See, we're almost done with our second color already. Da-da-da. Almost done here. And I'm liking the way it's looking so far. Might do one more coat on red. This is a really pretty pink here. Almost like a bubblegum pink. Be careful when you're sticking your sponge in like I just did. I pushed it in a little too far. It's easier to do on these little jars. Just touch the edge right into your jar. Remember, when you put your sponge in, you want to touch, wipe off the excess, and then go on your project. Because if you get a bunch of paint going down off the sides of these pieces, it's going to make it not look as good. And this is a really quick color. We just have 4 small pieces for this one, so it goes pretty quick. I always think it's great to go ahead and get going on Valentine's Day when we have to put away all of our Christmas stuff. always get a little sad seeing all that stuff go away, but then the bright, pretty colors come out for Valentine's Day, and we have a whole new season and holiday to celebrate. Going on to our lighter pink now for our next set of pieces. And if you notice on your base, it does have little score lines, so you're gonna know right where to put these pieces. So don't think, oh no, I've taken them all out and now I don't know what to do with them, because we've got the little score lines. It's gonna tell you right how to do it. So if you wanna do it as a puzzle, flip it over the other way and then make people figure it out how they want to do it. Then they can't cheat on the puzzle. They have to figure out how the pieces all fit themselves. Okay, that piece is done. Now we've just got our frame to paint. On to sponge number 5. You see, we did not use number 13 paint. That's a darker, deep red. Some of you may not want to use pink. I imagine there might be some boys who might not like pink. I know a lot of boys do like pink though. My boys all like pink. One of them wears a fair amount of pink. So that's why we give you some options. So you have a couple reds, you've got teal, you've got white, and you can use any colors that you have at home too. If you don't want to paint with these colors we gave you, you can do what you want. It's the great thing about our projects. We give you the basic idea and then you get to make it your own. Remember that you can always bring your project in and paint here at the studio during open paint time. We have open paint on Tuesday through Saturday from 12 to 3. So if you're just not sure how to do it even after watching this, or you've got somebody else that wants to come in and paint too, then you all can come in during open paint from 12 to 3. Just bring your box in with you and you can paint right here in our studio and leave the mess here with us. This frame is a thin little thing. I think we're gonna have to do 2 coats on our frame. You see, this is a really quick project to put together this month. I'm going to go ahead and I'm doing a second coat on this white. By the time you make it around your frame, your first coat is already dry. If you're doing it nice and even, taking your time to hop out, not having your paint too thick. You always have to let your first coat dry before you can do your second coat, okay? It's not gonna stick. Wet paint is just gonna pull off wet paint. Okay, wet paint won't stick to old wet paint. Now let that first coat dry. Okay, we're almost done with our frame here. All the way around. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay, so that is our frame. Outside ring all painted up, and let's see, I think that looks pretty good to me. I think I might do one more coat on the red and the teal. Just needs a little bit more. Some colors will cover better than others. White almost always needs multiple coats, sometimes even up to 3 coats. I think we got away with 2 today. But it just depends on how you want it to look. And there's nothing saying that this whole piece has to be one color. If you want to do a tie-dye look, you can certainly do that. And you really only have to paint one of these. I wasn't even thinking about that because one's going to stack on top of the other just to be an extra base for your project, to give it a little extra oomph so that it stands up easy. So you only really have to paint one of these. So there we go with that. One more coat on red, and then we're going to be ready to put this project together. Get to see it. So be interested to see, are you going to do a puzzle or are you going to do it as a standing art quilt? You can do it either way. Yep, one more coat is perfect for this one. See, I got a little bit of extra paint there. So now I'm just gonna hop, 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 keep hopping it out. Add some on the side of my sponge. But I wanna hop out until it's all nice and one thin coat on there, okay? So no problem there. Let's see, pink. Let's do one more on light pink. I think everything's gonna get one more little coat. Just so it looks just how I want it to be. Nice, even. I wanna see color. I don't wanna see any of the wood coming through on mine. Some people like that, especially if you do stains. Always fun. Then after this, we're gonna put it together. Okay, so that is that. All of those are done. Close up my paints, get them out of the way here, because now we get to have fun and put this together. So we give you some wood glue in your box. Comes like this. You got two of them in there. I like to go ahead and cut it apart so I can just deal with one at a time here. We're going to start with our outside frame. So I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to paint a little line around the outside. I don't want it to be too thick. You don't want that line to be too thick, too gloppy with your paint, because then it's going to ooze out all over your project and you're not going to like the way that looks. Okay, so all you need is a nice little line. Use your paintbrush, spread that out in that little outside area that's all scored. Remember, if you're doing a puzzle, you can just glue this on the back piece, okay? If you don't want them to see how to solve their puzzle, then you could do it on the back. So I just put a little bit of glue all the way on that outside line, okay? And then I'm gonna line my heart up right to that. Make sure I'm even on all my edges, okay? And that's looking good. Now, here's where I'm gonna get a little bit messy because I like to take a shortcut sometimes. So I'm gonna fill in the rest of this. So I'm gonna take my glue and I'm gonna go all over. Have a little paper towel or a baby wipe nearby for this. Like I got one of our little wipes. And I'm gonna use my finger and I'm gonna spread this glue out everywhere. Okay, so I don't want it to be all gooped up anywhere, but I want to have it on every piece. Every piece in here needs it, okay? Just wipe that off my finger, okay? And now we get to start putting it together. So start up here at the top, you start wherever you want. You just got to remember what piece went where, Okay, so now I'm just going to put my quilt together, or my puzzle. Sometimes it really sticks on there hard. Oh, this is so cute. Loving it. Okay, and then we've got our big pieces down here. I think it matters. Just put your sides together. This is why I like to do this all at one time, so that if something needs to be adjusted while it's wet, you can let it slide around. Fit in there really tight. Okay, and then we've got our little centerpieces. So I remember what order I put these in here. That's important. And right now our glue is still drying, so it can move around. Okay, okay. There we go. There we go. Now, what I would do with this, once you get all your pieces in there, you see them? I'm going to set something heavy. Get some heavy books at your house, something like that, to set on top to let that dry. And while it's drying, I'm gonna go show you another one that we painted. Hang on, I didn't leave you, I didn't leave you. Right back. So here is another one that you can see. You can see they did use the dark red, and they used both pinks and both reds, but no teal. So it's definitely has a different look to it. This table's slanted, so it doesn't want to stand up. I'm just letting this box set here and letting it dry. And we'll get ready for our next project, which is our little tic-tac-toe board. This one is pretty simple because it's just the tic-tac-toe board and your pieces. So you're gonna lay your pieces out, do all your X's one color and your O's one color. And then your board. So that's a 3-color project. So I'm gonna set this over out of the way while we finish that up. And then by the time we're done, that's gonna be all dry and ready to go. So on this one, bring this a little bit closer to me. Yeah, think about what color I want to paint my pieces. With this one, I think I'm gonna stick with the teal idea. And we're gonna do a little bit something different in this background. So we've got our little scored top here. And one of the techniques I like to do when we have that is painting with a wet wipe. So you can get a baby wipe. Ask mom and dad for a baby wipe, and it helps to do this kind of technique. So you can dip your paint right in there with the wipe, and then we're just gonna use that and spread it out and paint our board. And that way it doesn't completely cover up your letters, and you could still read what it says on there. So some paint did go down into my little heart cutouts. So I'm gonna use my little touch-up brush. This one actually still has some glue on it, and that's okay. Just getting in there and cleaning up those hearts so that you can still see them. And we're gonna let that dry, and then I'm gonna do red and pink. I think red and pink for my X's and O's. Let's do some O's as pink. Such a cute little game. And then you can go beat your brothers or sisters, mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever you want to beat. Tic-tac-toe. Show them how to play this game. Okay, and then we've got red for our X's. And we are almost done here. Ooh, this one was super fast. Such a fun, cute little project. We just wanted to give you guys an extra little project this time to go with your puzzle. Okay, so now we've got our tic-tac-toe board ready to go. You could do another coat on there if you wanted to. It's up to you. I'm gonna lay my X's and my O's on there. Make sure they're all dry before you do that. I'm just gonna lay them on there. X is 1 for this game. 2, right there. So that's that one. And oh, we need to glue this little stand together. Same process. My glue out here. Spread that out so that it doesn't ooze out of your project. Put those together. This is always good to set something heavy on top of it so it dries nice and good. Let it set for 5 minutes or so, okay? So, here you got your tic-tac-toe board. This is all dry over here. And now we have, oh, all the hearts again, and our tic-tac-toe board. So this is our January mini maker box. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.